Here are a few directions for mapping ancient Egypt, steps 2 and 3. So after I have my outline of the land and water borders of ancient Egypt, I am going to start labeling some of the places in Egypt. Step 2 starts with a lot of the geographic features that I've already outlined. For example, the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, I had to outline, so I went ahead and I labeled those two places first. And you want to make sure that you're checking your spelling, compare it to the sources that you're using or the list here. And all of these places are proper nouns, which means they begin with a capital letter. Then I'm going to look for some of these other places and just kind of check things off as I go. So I've labeled these two so far. The sources that you will use might include the Nile, the River in the Sand book. In this book, I can see the Nile Delta is up here at the top, and that is one of the things that I need to label. So I can either write it over it, above it, off to the side. The Nile Delta, this line coming down, this is all the Nile River. This part is all Egypt. I don't recommend putting a nice big Egypt, okay? If you write too big, you might find out later that there are smaller details you need to include and you've run out of space. So I'm going to write Egypt there. The social studies book, My World History, has a nice map of ancient Egypt on page 145. This one shows you Upper and Lower Egypt. It also includes the Western and the Eastern Desert and the Sinai Peninsula. This map is zoomed in closer to the Nile Delta than the maps we have been using. So I want to remember that when I come to look at my copy of my map, that these things might actually be closer to the Nile Delta. So we've got the Western Desert, Eastern Desert, Upper and Lower Egypt, Sinai Peninsula, Asia, and Africa are all things that I need to label on this map. So page 145 has a good map to continue your labels. Anything that you don't find in a book source, you can use other resources. Maybe you find other maps online to help you find a few of these other locations to label, including number 3, label the ancient cities Memphis, Giza, and Thebes. So far in the books that I've used, those cities were not labeled. So I might need to find a third and even a fourth source to make sure I have all of the labels in step 2 and in step 3.